Yeah, brother. Basically, Shiva is pure consciousness. It is awareness. And Shiva is the masculine energy, okay? It's the one that observes the universe. It's the one that observes the thoughts, okay? I'd like to think of it as our superior empty self. And our superior self is like our body that all other bodies are kind of born inside of, okay? Our superior self is the most subtle, and it's stillness. It's eternal. Your superior self is pure conscious awareness, okay? And it's like your greater body. It's emptiness too. And within that is all life, all energy, all power, all form, and that's Shakti, okay? Shakti is energy. It's the feminine principle. The universe is Shakti. Every form you see is in the process of growing or dying. It's in flux. It's in change. It is Shakti, right? Your thoughts that are in constant flux, that is actually feminine, okay? Your emotions, your feelings about life, all these things of the world, everything that we attach to and moves us in the world is Shakti, okay? And when men start to try to like get clear on something, right? Basically, we're all seeking to find like how can I build a foundation in this world that's actually secure? And you can't do it in this world. You got to find those things that don't change. And that comes from sitting in Shiva. Sitting and worshiping Shiva is sitting there and breathing into the space in between. Meaning like we're letting the ideas fall away. We're letting the feelings fall away. We're not attaching to anything in this life because we're realizing that there's a self inside of us at the deepest level that was before and will be after. You know, like is eternal, timelessness. It's still. It's just awareness of the universe itself.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Shiva's the destroyer in Hindu like mythology in a sense. And it's actually not destructive. It's dissolving. So when it comes to when we have a lot of patterns in our mind, right? And a lot of suffering and resistance in our life that's created from, you know, what we want to do, what we don't want to do, what's hard, what's easy, what feels good, what feels bad. All this ego programming, right? That creates all this resistance. Basically, what we need to do is find stillness inside of ourselves. Remember the breath. Practice self-awareness so that things can start dissolving back into self. Like transformation happens through unbecoming. And we're at this place in this modern day right now where people like yourself and people like myself have entered into extreme realms of chaos very young in life because of the amount of information consumed, because of the contradictions in philosophies and like socialization and like living so contrary to our natures for so long. We're literally in a knot. Your mind, your ego is in a knot, okay? And all this personal development bullshit narratives out here right now, they're about like doing more, adding more to the cup that's full of dirty ass water.
Yeah, it is.
Okay? This is why the Shiva principle is so important, especially, I would say especially for men, is accessing stillness so that you can realize your deeper essence inside of you that is unchanging and unmoved, so that things can start to dissolve onto the surface of truth. And when that happens, life will automatically start to flow towards more alignment. And ultimate alignment is ultimate harmony. It's complete peace, ease, and like connection internal to the external. Your nature is perfectly suited, supported, and reflected everywhere around you. You know, that's alignment. And like to get there, what we need to do, like men need to go be alone in the forest. That's why every masculine initiation requires like fasting for 3 days in utter stillness, crying to God about all your misery and like bullshit weakness and things you can't overcome without him. That's what like every indigenous initiation was. And it's to realize stillness. Men must let go of all the forms of everything in the universe that we're connected to, that we're identifying with, that we're letting move us, right? And realize self-awareness again, so that we can get back to a deeper part inside of ourselves. Because when we're living from a deeper essence, we're not in planes and frequencies of thought that carry resistance and fear. And like all these like illusions that ultimately we leak all of our energy running for, or like resisting, what we don't want. By finding a deeper essence inside of us, we're actually inspired from the depth of our core. We start operating in love. Like not some kind of like, bubbly feeling, but I mean in the sense of like if you were to show up in this conversation as love itself,
yeah,
like what does that look like? It's singular. There is no resistance. And like, so basically Shiva destroys by being the most subtle, the most still, the most at peace, right? And basically power in this reality is being able to hold absolute stillness inside of yourself. So Shiva in his ultimate power, while Shakti is at her ultimate power. And that means imagine the most stress, the most pressure, the most anger, the most excitement, the most feelings, the most thoughts, the most dance of everything in the universe happening in your reality and inside of yourself while we don't lose our center. That's like when that happens, the two and the one become one. Okay. And this is where like it's the whole idea behind like Buddha and Christ figures is the ability to unify action and rest, like discipline and surrender, right? Like, you know what I mean? Rest and motion simultaneously. And that's the Tao. And why this is important when we're talking about resistance, when we're talking about transformation, is the Tao is flow. This is where flow sits in between, right? If we're really caught up in the world and we're not connected to like the depth of our essence, whatever we try to do, we won't really feel engaged with. There's going to be resistance there, right? Because we're not operating from a depth of our being. And also, we're going to be operating in illusion. What we think we want, what we're willing, and all these different things are coming from a place of, where there's all these walls, where there's all this polarity and duality. We need to tap into Shiva and let go and realize self and let self move inside of us. If that makes sense.
It makes complete sense, but there's always the duality lingering. Like I feel like I'm not like even. It's like there's like two different worlds we're in, like completely.
Yes. And it's learning how to stand in each one by itself and then bring them together through practice. That's the process, brother. That is the inner alchemy. It's like, wow, I can go out into the desert and breathe for 3 days and hike around and microdose and back in the world, and I'm 3 days in. And like I felt so good coming back, but then I'm like having so much resistance to like what I was inspired by in the depths of my being. And it's an art form, it's an alchemy that is ever evolving of like, how can I hold true and hold the space and not react to everything moving inside of it? How can I be in the world and be in myself simultaneously? Like to do that is to unlock the master. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So like that's the direction.